Good day, my brothers and sisters. You are now rocking with the best. Malik D, your credit guru, the hit maker. Can I get a hit? The Score. Today we are sitting here with the County Commissioner of Mecklenburg County, Mr. Trevor Fuller.
Yes, sir.
Brother Trevor, pleasure to have you on the podcast.
Great to be here, my brother.
Pleasure to have you engaging with my hundreds of thousands of Instagram followers, my podcast listeners. And by the way, you guys subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bell. This is yours truly, Malik D, your credit guru, and Mr. Trevor Fuller, County Commissioner, that is now running for the U.S. Senate seat as far as being a representative for the state of North Carolina.
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Trevor, how you doing today, brother?
I'm doing great, my brother. Thank
Listen, what made? I'm just going to jump right in onto it. What made you run for this U.S. Senate seat?
Because they gone crazy in D.C. And I said, we got to do something about this. And we know what to do in Mecklenburg County, right?
Okay.
So we're over 1 million people. We do a lot of things.
So 1 million people in Mecklenburg County?
In Mecklenburg County. There are over almost 1.1 million people in Mecklenburg.
Now, are these original Charlotteans that's from Charlotte, North Carolina, Mecklenburg County, or are they outsiders coming in?
Well, it's both. So
Okay.
it's native Charlotteans, but there's mostly people who are not from Charlotte
Okay.
who are in Mecklenburg County.
Okay.
So we've got Charlotte, and you got 6 towns in Mecklenburg County, but all of that together is about 1.1 million people.
Okay.
So Mecklenburg County is 10% of the size of North Carolina, which
Wow.
is about 10.5 million people. We are the 9th largest state in the country. People
heard
don't
that.
realize that.
Yeah.
Didn't
Heard that.
realize that.
Yeah, we're a big deal. So, but you would know it if you looked at what they do in Washington. And we do things right here, and we need to do them right in D.C. And I've got a lot of ideas about it.
Now, what's some of the things you have accomplished here in Mecklenburg County as being a commissioner?
So all along in my service, what I wanted to do was to get to the root of all these problems we see. Kids not reading on grade level, disparities between races in the schools. And I said, well, what's the problem? What is? And one of the things is early childhood education.
Wow.
So one of the things I've done is I led the effort to have universal pre-K in Mecklenburg County. So every child from birth to age 5 will have a quality early childhood education in Mecklenburg County, no matter where you live, no matter how much you make, no matter what you do, your child is going to get early childhood in Mecklenburg County. And so I want to spread that all across North Carolina, all across the country, because we know that when kids get what they need in those first early years, it pays off over and over again through that child's life.
Now, I know you just stated, that piece of it as far as, what kind of, what some things you have accomplished here in Mecklenburg County. But, we have an issue here in Mecklenburg, Charlotte, North Carolina, Mecklenburg County with gun violence.
Yes, sir.
and
Yes.
the murder rate and things like that. I mean, can you expound a little bit more on that as far as you, with your position as far as a county commissioner, what type of, struggles that you guys are having with that? Because it's definitely a struggle.
It's a struggle. And it's, people are dying in our city. Over 100 people this year already.
Absolutely. That's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people. And so what we're finding is that people are using guns in domestic violence situations. They're using it to express their anger. And then you got people who want to make politics out of guns. They say, well, it's my gun, my Second Amendment right, I need to have my guns. But people are dying in the streets because of it. So we got to do something about it. Here's what I suggest. That we need to treat gun violence like a public health problem. What do I mean by that? So why are people using guns more now than before? What's happening? We need to study that. We need to get rid of assault weapons. I'm sorry, we just need to get rid of assault weapons. Nobody needs to hunt or own assault weapons. We need to make sure that people who are exhibiting, behavior that's dangerous, or, you worry about violent behavior, or they're saying things and doing things that are weird, those people shouldn't have guns in their hands. Anyway, I think we need to do something about it. And it's just, we can't just sit here and watch people die.
What did you think you can do about that if you actually won that position as far as running against your running mates and things like that?
Yes.
What do you think you, as a U.S. Senator representing the state of North Carolina, what do you think that you can actually accomplish and get done in dealing with that particular type of issue?
Right. So the first thing is we can ban assault weapons. That can be a law. We can pass that. I can do that as a U.S. Senator to introduce that and get people to support it. Secondly, we've got to do these, like I just mentioned to you, these what they're called red flag laws, which allow people to, look at people's behavior and see whether they should have a weapon. That can be a law. We can pass those things. Mm-hmm. The third thing is we can make sure to treat, again, gun violence like a public health crisis, meaning that we should have the Centers for Disease Control in Atlanta. They ought to be able to study gun violence. You know they can't do that now? The Republicans,
really?
Yeah, the Republicans, when they were in control.
Well, I'm not into politics like that. I'm right here in between. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican and things like that. I'm just right here. Because that politics is
yes,
sir. Sticky for me.
I'm with you on that. But I'm just pointing to the real. You understand?
I get it, brother. I get it.
When they were in control, they cut off the money for studying gun violence.
Okay.
And I say, no, we need to put that money back in. So those are the kinds of things that I could do as a U.S. Senator to actually have an impact on gun violence.
You're an attorney as well, too, right?
I am.
What
yes,
type
sir.
of attorney are you?
So I do primarily employment litigation.
Okay.
So when people get fired or they've been discriminated against, I help them get relief.
Okay. Well, we have an issue in this economy as well, too. We have a lot of working families that are struggling.
Yes, too many.
They're struggling to the T. We hearing on on these news broadcasting stations, CNN, NBC, all that, that the economy is booming right now.
Yes. Yes.
Can you elaborate a little bit more on the economy and what's this current situation now as you being a commissioner that's running for the U.S. Senate? You into this politic thing.
Yes, sir.
You know it.
Yes.
You on your grind with it, so you see things that we don't see.
I see it.
So can you expound on that a little bit?
So people talk about the economy being really good, and it is. For many people, it is.
Gotcha.
But for a lot of people, it's not. So when you say that you have an unemployment rate that's low like this, what it means is that a lot of people are in these low-paying jobs. Not that there's nothing wrong with that.
I thought they rose the. I thought they increased the minimum wage.
No, they have not increased it yet. That's the whole point. We need to increase the minimum wage. It's right now about $7.25, $7.50, and we need to get that up. Right? You can't live on that.
No.
So we got to raise the minimum wage. I think it should be at $15, which is close to what a living wage would be.
Well, that's what I thought it was at.
Yeah, no, sir, It is not.
So it's at $7.
$7
Wow.
and some change. So we got to change that not only for North Carolina, but we need to change it for the whole country. So the federal minimum wage is also $7 and something. We need to get that up. There's no doubt about it.
Wow. Okay. So I know you're running against your other running mates.
Yes.
Who are your other running mates?
There are a couple people from some folks over there.
Okay. Here and there, right?
Yeah, here and there.
Okay. So if you actually became the U.S. Senator
Yes, sir.
for the state of North Carolina, we hear a lot of times, Brother Trevor, that when these people are running for these campaigns and running for these seats, they promise the world.
Oh, yeah.
They promise the world. They promise you everything beyond heaven.
Yes.
But when they actually get that seat, they do half of what they say they're going to do for the people.
Yes.
If you were elected and you actually won that U.S. Senate seat, what would be your first priority in dealing with the state of North Carolina? What would it be that you would immediately attack?
Yeah.
If you became U.S. Senator in the state of North Carolina?
I think the first thing I would do would be to address this health care issue.
Okay.
People paying for health care. Look, the biggest things that people pay for is health care, your home, child care. Those are the three biggies. Health care is a big one. So I would start right with health care. First of all, I think everybody should be covered. Everybody.
Yeah, that's true.
Because the fact of the matter is, if you don't have coverage, you get diabetic shock or something. You go to the emergency room. We got to pay for it. But that's the most expensive way to pay for it. What if we instead help pay for prevention, getting you some treatment for your diabetes before you get into a diabetic shock? So that's why I think if everybody's covered, it can lower the costs for everybody. But that would be the first thing I would do. And to your point about people do promise a lot of things.
Oh, they promise a lot.
They promise a lot of things. And I've never done that in all of my races.
Don't even half of what they say they're going to do.
Half, if that. But I have always said, look, I've run 4 times in this county of 1 million people.
Wow.
And the people have supported me 4 times. And it's because I don't promise things that I don't think I can do.
Okay.
I think we can do health care. I think we can do.
So basically what you're saying, you're a man of integrity.
I am the Lord as my witness and my helper. Yes, because I believe that I believe in people. I believe in helping people. To me, I get great joy out of helping people. I really do. God has given me some gifts, and I feel like I need to use them.
What are some of your biggest accomplishments as a county commissioner here in Mecklenburg County? Something that you really take pride in, that you know, hey, with my position of authority that I have, with the influence that I have here in Mecklenburg County of Charlotte, North Carolina, the accomplishments that you made. One accomplishment that have like hit you right here to the heart.
I would think it would be the universal pre-K. That's the thing that I've done that I'm most proud of, because I see these kids who otherwise wouldn't have any early childhood education. Now, because of my efforts, they do.
Wow.
And so I'm really proud of that, because I know how important it's going to be. So listen to this. We got some information from some doctors and stuff, and they talked about how kids develop. Do you know that brain waves and your brain architecture is pretty much set by the time you're 2 years old? Pretty much.
Conditioned and programmed.
Yes, it's all. So not that it can't change after
Right.
that,
I mean,
but
which
that's.
ca- yeah.
But the biggest part is. So think about that. Your brain is pretty much set at 2 years old, but we don't start school until 3 years later. Well, what's going to happen in that period of time? Well, we know. They get to kindergarten, not ready to read. They get to 3rd grade, not ready to read. Then they get to high school and they don't graduate, or they don't graduate with the skills that they need. That's why this universal pre-K program has been my biggest, I'm proudest of that in my time as a county commissioner.
Wow. So, once again, I'm going to ask you this question. What makes you think that you're the right person or the ideal person for this position as U.S. Senator for the state of North Carolina?
That's a great question. Because I believe we're in a time of history right now.
Okay.
All of this partisanship and craziness going on in Washington, we need to send people to Washington who not only know how to do things, but have the right heart of service. And I have shown that. You don't have to just take my word for it. You can just look at my record as a county commissioner. More than that, I know what needs to be done. God has given me discernment and vision to be able to see what is it that we need to do. And more than that, the ability, the education, the skill to be able to get those things done. And that's why I say you don't have to take my word for it. As a county commissioner, I did those same things.
Check your track record.
Check it.
Your resume.
Yes. And we need more people like that in Washington. In fact, Washington needs to be more like what we do here locally.
Wow.
We don't do all that partisanship locally. I mean, yes, you're a Republican, you're a Democrat, yeah, I get all that. But when it comes to paving a street or giving a child education, that's not Republican or Democrat. That's just getting things done. And I think people in Washington need to know more of that.
Tom Tullers.
Yes.
That's his name, right?
That's his name.
U.S. Senator right now for the state of North Carolina.
That is correct.
This man has been in that seat for about, what, 6
years.
6 years,
About
7
6
years,
years,
or
yeah.
whatever?
Yeah.
Why is it so hard to get him out of that?
Well, we will this time. That's why I'm running.
Good answer. Great answer.
Why is it so hard to get this man out of that position?
Well, we got to do, and this is the thing. People got to vote. We got to vote. And trust me, people are trying to keep us from voting because they
In
know
what
the
kind
power.
of way, brother?
Well, by making it harder for you to vote, by making you have a voter ID, by only allowing you to vote at certain times, by taking people off the voting rolls.
You guys hear that? You better listen very clearly to this, brother.
Believe me, if they want you to believe that your vote doesn't count, they want you to believe that, because then you won't vote. They know that when you vote, when we vote, we win. When I say that, the more that people vote, the more likely it is for people like me to get elected, because we care about people and we want to see everybody advance. But there are others who don't want that, who want to do things for the most wealthy, for the corporations, and not that wealthy are not good people. They're good people, but they're not the only folks. We need to look at the majority of people. That's what we need to be working for.
Basically, there's no more middle class no more. Either you're rich or either you're poor.
That's the way it seems now.
And so as your position as a U.S. Senator for the state of North Carolina, you would take that, you would take what they already got out there as far as either you're rich or you're poor, and you will focus more on the middle class?
Middle class, because we've learned, even in history we know, that when you invest in the middle class, everybody benefits. Even rich people benefit when you focus on middle class, ordinary folks and their issues. So people should not be working 2 and 3 jobs just trying to make ends meet. You should be able to work in a job where you make enough money to live on. You need to be able to have a house safe, decent, and affordable to live in. You need health care. These are basic things, and people are being kept from those basic things. And so my job is to remove those barriers.
What made you take that jump from local politics to national politics?
Because what I saw, what we're doing on the county level, is basically all the federal issues where the rubber meets the road, it's at the county level. So when you talk about healthcare, that's county. When you talk about education, that comes down to the county. So I said, I need to get to the source, right?
Straight to the heart, the meat.
Yeah, let's get to the meat. That's why I'm, in addition to this emergency in D.C. that I talked about.
Has it been a journey so far?
It has, my brother. Let me tell you.
Hey, I want to hear it. I mean, listen, what's some of the things that you have encountered, Trevor, in regards of this being a part of your journey? Because I know, like I stated before, this is worse than the drug game.
Yeah.
Politics is worse than the drug game.
It's rough.
I would like to know the levels.
Yes.
Of what you experience on your journey with running for this U.S. Senate seat.
Well, first of all, people will smile in your face.
Oh, my God, boy, do I know.
Smile in your face. Tell you that they support you. And then you hear later, no, they don't.
Wow.
And so getting through that, because it is a very, when you're the candidate, it can be very emotional because it's very personal. It's your own name that's out there.
Exactly.
And so, you worry about those things. But I do pray a lot, and I trust in God to protect me as I go through this journey. But it's people telling you one thing and meaning another. It's people trying to sabotage what you're doing. It is an amazing journey, and it's at a level that I've never experienced before in my life.
I can imagine.
But I also say this, that anything worth doing and worth having, you're going to go through some stuff to get it. And so I just put on my armor and just keep rolling through.
Well, brother, I respect you for the position that you're running after.
Thank you, sir.
I mean, it takes a lot of courage and a lot of tenacity with that, to actually get that accomplished and to actually make that something that's count on your resume.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Most people don't even take the initiative to even take that stance like that to move in that space. They do a whole bunch of word playing, a whole bunch of talking, and when you actually make that initiative to move in that space, and I can agree with you, you get a lot of that yip and all that word play, talking behind your back, backstabbing, sabotaging, and with that type of energy that's thrown at you, it can be a major distraction.
It can be.
What I mean?
And what I would tell you is, I would not have done this if I didn't think that I could win, if I didn't think that this was the right time for me to run, that I had the right skills and right tools to be able to run, I wouldn't do that. I've got plenty of other things I could be doing in my life other than...
Like you stated, you're an attorney.
Yes,
you got cases.
Absolutely. But I really feel like this is a time when we got to step up, given what's going on in Washington with the president and all these other things, that it's time for people to step up and serve. And that's why I'm doing it in this 2020 year.
Got to break the chains.
Yes, sir.
Well, brother, I appreciate you being on as a guest today.
Really do.
My podcast listeners, my Instagram followers, you guys step up, step out, and support this brother. Make sure you follow me. Make sure you follow me on Instagram. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe and hit that bell. Malik D, your credit guru. Like I stated before, brother, I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Peace out.